Good afternoon and welcome to Channel IOX's playthrough of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube. Reason I want to play this game and talk about it is because I find it really interesting, the reactions that this game gets. There are people who I talk about this game with who absolutely love it and think it's brilliant. And then there's people who I talk about it with and tell me it's completely awful. And I had one of my friends a couple months ago say he's played through this game randomly a couple weeks ago, and he said, or a couple months ago, and he said it was terrible, and he said he couldn't believe that he used to like this game. And I find that both those reactions to this game are wrong. See, I don't think it's a great game, and I don't think it's a terrible game. I don't think it's in between those extremes. I think it's another case entirely. I think it's a very, very flawed game that has a lot of good things about it, and a lot of things that really suck people in. In my opinion, I'm always into games that are rough around the edges but have something to them. And this game has a lot to it, and it starts with this level right here. This is a brilliant level. There's a lot of little things I love about it. I love the skateboarding on the helicopter. I love the skateboard jumps. I love that it's based off of San Francisco, which if you didn't know is where Sega of America's headquarters are. That's why a lot of Sega games take place in San Francisco. If you've ever played the first Crazy Taxi, that takes place in San Francisco. This level, it takes place in, it doesn't say San Francisco, but it's assumed that it's San Francisco because it has, you know, the big hills, the houses built into the incline. I mean, there's the trolleys. It's pretty much San Francisco. And I'm absolutely awful at this game, as you can see. I'm not one of those guys who's gonna have, you know, MLG highlight reel set to Skrillex music. I'm not great at video games. I don't care too much about it. The only ones I'm good at are really sports games, which I find interesting because I'm going to talk to you guys about why I love this game. In the, you know, the current age we live in, I'm recording this 2013. I doubt anyone's really going to watch it, but I mean, right now in video games, everything is extremely polished. Every game has 5,000 people or so working on it. They're all churning out these games that have, you know, multi-million-dollar budgets. I mean, you know, some of them get like $100 million or so. They have these huge advertising budgets. They're very polished. The graphics are photorealistic. Every moment of the game is scripted to be like a movie. You know, everything's supposed to be like a Michael Bay type of deal, and I hate that. It's easy to hate on Michael Bay. I mean, he's one of the most hated directors in Hollywood, but I feel like every video game is just a Michael Bay movie now, which is one reason why I just can't get into modern video games anymore. And I feel like this game isn't great or anything, but it has a lot of character to it, you know. I love the crappy skater rock that plays in it. It's bad. It's terrible, but it's really funny. And the things that I love the composer who did it. If you don't know who it is, it's Jun Sunue with his band Crush 40. And I mean, Jun has done a lot of stuff with Sega. He did some of the music for Sonic 3D Blast or Jam, whatever that game for the Genesis is. That's that one that's like an isometric Sonic game. He did music for that, and it's all this great synthy, you know, layered stuff. There's a lot of great things going on in that game. That game's music. So I mean, he comes around and he makes kind of a butt rock band with this, and it's not good. It's definitely not good, but it's enjoyable. And every time this song comes on or I play this game with friends, we immediately start singing the City Escape song. I mean, it's awesome. I remember I used to love this song as a kid, and I didn't play this game for a few years. You know, I played it when I was like 12 or so. I didn't touch this game until I was 17 again, and I immediately remember every single word to the song. I mean, that says something. And to me, I mean, that song makes the game, or this song right here, you know. This is one of the things I really love. And I mean, the music in the game's funny. The Sonic Adventure music is always funny, you know. There's the Sonic Adventure 1, there's a Knuckles rap where he talks about how tough he is, and it's like smooth. There's like tons of saxophone and stuff like that. It's like this weird jazz thing. And I mean, all of Knuckles' rap music is like smooth hip hop, where it's like kind of a place between like, you know, kind of like trip hop or smooth jazz, and it's funny because I mean, it's so out of place. It has no place in a game about cartoon hedgehogs, but you know, here we are, and I like that, you know. I mean, I think I kind of like Knuckles' music, even though it's kind of stupid, and I like this music even though it's stupid, and that's part of what sells this game to me, is that there's a lot of weird things going on. And You know, the story is completely stupid. The characters are stupid. There's a lot of bad dialogue, but you know, it's funny to talk about it. And every so often, the game will have really bad gameplay segments, like the Knuckles levels or the Tails levels. But then, you know, you get a Sonic level like this, and it's awesome. I mean, this is really, really fun and really cool that I'm being chased by this gigantic truck and the game's moving so fast. You know, it's awesome. And there's little things I love on here. Like, if you look around, there's the Planet of the Chaos, which is supposed to be like Planet of the Apes. And if you played it on the Dreamcast, they had an ad for PSO Volume 2. And I remember getting Phantasy Star. And I got Phantasy Star, and the demo came with the demo, or the game came with the demo to this game. And I remember playing through this level a million times. And that's part of the reason I really, really love this game, is that I have so many good memories of it. But also, the more I come back to it, the more I realize that there's a lot of really kind of fun, dumb things going on in it. And, I mean, it's great. The one thing that I really don't like about modern video games is that when they come out, you know, they have these big, elaborate ad campaigns, and there's so many people working on the game that it doesn't feel like an organic product. It just feels like this cold, calculated thing. And I mean, to some degree, all commercial video games are. But when a game comes through and has like so much weird, goofy crap in it, it's hard to see it as something plastic and corporate. You know, like with music, you know, when you hear a big ballad, you know, about breaking up with someone, because I mean, no, there's ballads generally in pop music are about breaking up, or it doesn't feel real. You know, there's this person in all this pain, but I mean, you know, there's the songwriter who wasn't them. There's the producer who arranged everything. They sang the music. There's all the studio musicians. There's the image people. There's the people who produce the image. I mean, there's just so much going on in making a stupid breakup song that doesn't feel like a real thing anymore. And you know, when Katy Perry sings "Wide Awake" on the radio, I heard a lot of girls saying, "Aw, I feel so bad for her." You know, Russell Brand and broke her heart and stuff like that. And I did it. I mean, Katy Perry is a good-looking girl and everything, so I mean, obviously that might draw me towards some sort of sympathy for her. But at the same time, that song isn't real. You know, she might have had some songwriting credit on it, and maybe there's some reality to it, but it's hard to buy it as something authentic, considering she worked with this huge team of people to manufacture something. And that's what I don't like about video games now, is that they're so manufactured. And that's not to say a manufactured product can't be good, but I like games that are rough around the edges. There's a game called Deadly Premonition that came up for the 360 and recently got re-released, I guess, for the PS3, I read. And that game is great. The thing is that it got 10 out of 10s, and then people give it like 2s out of 2s, because it's a bad game from the standpoint of most game journalists. You know, the gameplay's terrible. Oh, wow, how did I miss that? Oh, I'm about to die, aren't I? You know, the game journalists hate the game because the graphics were terrible. What is going on? Should probably stop being such a pretentious fool and, you know, actually play the game. But, I mean, things that the game journalists hated it because the graphics were terrible. You know, the graphics were absolutely bad. The gameplay is terrible. I mean, they added on a shooter, basically, because they focus tested the game and said it wouldn't sell without a shooter. And the game's a crime investigation game based off of the show Twin Peaks, which is, you know, a Stephen Lynch TV show. It's not in the same vein as, like, you know, Blue Velvet or Elephant Man or anything like that. It's not quite as, it's not shown the same way. It's supposed to be like a takeoff on a soap opera, and it's funny. I mean, there's a lot of... It's not comedy or anything, but I mean, there's a lot of really good humorous moments, and the show overall is really fascinating. And the game Deadly Premonition really, really tries to mimic that same thing where it's cheesy. You know, it's not great. There's a lot of objectively or subjectively, it's bad, but at the same time, there's something there very real about it that makes it really appealing and puts it above, you know, a lot of other things which are more manufactured and try too hard. So, I mean, that's the reason I really like this game, is it's cheesy, but there's something very real about it. There's something that, you know, keeps me coming back all these years later. There's something that keeps me coming back that I want to play the music from this game. You know, when I'm up at night and I'm bored, I turn on the soundtrack from this game, and I come back to the memories I have playing it, you know, and I laugh because it's funny, you know. It's a really funny thing, but it's also a great memory. But that's taking us to the end. So until next time, take care.